I'm Gaz, and this is Let's Play Hearthlands. This is a city builder game, kind of in the same vein of the walker-based ones by Impressions Games. It's in early access, but it was given to me by the developers to look at, so I figured I would. There's not a lot to the game just yet, but I figure we can go ahead and play through one of the sandbox multiplayer maps. First, though, we should start with the tutorial. Welcome to Hearthlands. This tutorial is designed to help you to understand the basic concepts of Hearthlands and doesn't show nearly as many features as the game has, which is actually a part of my frustration. There are a lot of details you may want to discover yourself. I'd rather be told. First of all, your city needs people. Scroll the map to find a good area. Ideally, it would be near trees and mushrooms. Buttons on the bottom left are your menus, blah blah blah. Okay, first thing we need to do is build 12 homes. Now, we need to build this close to trees and mushrooms because those are early resources we will need. Fortunately, we seem to have them right here. We've also got a lot of stone, which I don't believe we need for the tutorial. These resources actually deplete. So unlike, say, Zeus, for example, we cannot just mine them infinitely. So I'm going to go ahead and put my... Well, we need these resources too. I'll put it right here. Okay, so let's grab some homes, and these are very large homes. And let's put in 6 there, and then I'll leave a little bit of space. And for some reason, I can't go more than 5, whatever. Most buildings in the game need road access to operate. Okay, so then we just need to use the little footprint road here, and voila! Once your houses are accessible and connected with a road, you need to wait for some migrants to arrive. Speed buttons are up there. Let's go. Where do they come in? Top corner, it looks like. So, actually, I should have maybe built over there. However, we will need access right here, so I'm fine with this location. Although we are kind of hemmed in here for later on, when we want to expand a little bit. In fact, to remind myself right now, I'm just going to drag these roads out like this, so I leave myself some space. And actually, I'm also going to demolish these trees. You can't build over the trees. You actually have to destroy them to get them out of the way, which is kind of obnoxious. And you don't get the resources for them either. You don't get the wood if you chop it down, so that's too bad, but I suppose it's not a resource up here, it's actually something that goes into a storehouse, so that makes sense. My little farm. As you may have noticed, your people are complaining about the lack of food. If there's something that requires your attention, you'll see an icon on the top of a building showing what the problem is. Every citizen requires a certain amount of food every month. If there's not enough food, your people will eventually leave your city for a better life. There are 8 types of food in the game, and this is important. Apples, turnips, honey, eggs, fish, cheese, wurst, and bread. Each type has a different nutrition value, apples being the worst and bread the best. So, that is a lengthy list to memorize. But it's an interesting dynamic as well, because you're not just getting different types of food, you're getting food that actually has better nutrition than others. So that could be an interesting mechanic later on as the houses grow up. Growing turnips is one of the simplest ways to get food, even though that's number 2 on the list. So we need to build 3 growers' lodges and connect them with a road. Building 72 turnip plots, and let's see, it starts in January, so they won't be for another year. And you can also build scarecrows to protect your crops. They need to be 2 tiles away. Okay, well, I'm going to pause here for a bit, and let's see, I'm going to chop down this tree for no real reason. Drag this out, and this is where I'm going to put my farms. So the cool thing is that the growers' lodges, this kind of works like the grape and olive in Zeus, where you just have the growers' lodge, and then you can have the actual crop separate. And so I'm just going to put them real close together, and then I'm going to put down scarecrows so I actually know... Can you rotate the map? Well, whatever. So I need to center this like that, and then I'll have it 2 away on that side and 2 away on that side. Okay, now I'll put down my turnips. So they're all covered by the scarecrows. Every building can store a certain amount of resources, but for large quantities, you need a storeyard. Turnips from growers' lodges will be delivered to your storeyard. And you can specialize a storeyard to do different things, blah, blah, blah. So basically, everything that a storeyard does in similar games. So let's put that, I guess we'll just drag it out here. Obviously, we've got appeal problems if we put industry too close to home, so let's not do that. And here is the storeyard. Storage and distribution. These are actually very small. We'll put this right, well, shoot, I think I off-centered it a little bit too much. If I'd put them one more, they would actually line up very nicely. Since we're going to have to be somewhat close to that, no. Let's just put it in the corner here, because we'll need more resources elsewhere. Okay, so what I'm going to do is open this up, and I'm actually going to change everything so it's not accepting the goods. And then I'm just going to take turnips, and I'm going to tell them to accept. We can tell them to get, and that will prioritize the goods in that storeyard. I'm just going to have them accept for now, and I will take, well, these hold what, 24? So 12 will be half. Okay, fine. And I'll just put it on very fast again, because it's going to take some time to grow the crops before we have anything that we need for our goal. Now that's interesting. I guess it's late planting, because we're in the growing season. Well, that's fine. We don't have to wait a year. We do have to wait some time nonetheless. Let's see here. The tutorial does not cover these menus up here, but we have the economic view, which does a very detailed breakdown of all the goods in the game, which is very nice. Taxes and employment. The taxes in this game are automatic. They adjust to allow for population growth, and so if you need people, you will have low taxes, and if you've got a lot of things being built and you need some money, it'll raise your taxes. You can turn that off, of course, and manually do it, but I like that mechanic. Then we've got squads. I think that comes a little bit later in the tutorial, and then there's research. We don't have access to this yet, but we can research things like diligence, increasing the amount of workers by 5%. So that's pretty cool stuff. Let's see, there's trade routes, obviously, and then there is the map. And there's nobody here yet, so we'll have to look at that some other time. Very similar to the impressions formula. However, this game does add quite a bit. Like I said, for one thing, the resources are destructible, and we see over here there is a graveyard. The game has sort of in-map obstacles and enemies and things like that we will have to deal with. Pretty cool. Obviously, there's also the plethora of goods that you need to get anything done, which is crazy. It might be a little bit hectic. And of course, they've all got their own supply chain, so it's a bit more in-depth and complicated than a game like Zeus. And am I going 3 times? Because this is taking forever. Anyway, another nice thing about this is not only does it show the little icon of what your homes need, but you just hover over everything and get a tooltip, including stuff up here, like the population. And you can see not only the percentage, but the actual number of unemployed. I like that very much. It's also a very high tax level at the moment. I imagine that this probably also adjusts at some point for what is going on. Why aren't you, why did you stop? I imagine it might also fluctuate for happiness, you know, if people are upset. What's going on? I feel like something has gone wrong. Are we just waiting on the harvest? Because that's kind of crummy. Let me have a look here. Oh yeah, there they go. Harvest was May to October, it said. Now you need to deliver food to your houses. All goods are delivered to your citizens by a peddler. Build a peddler's tent, which is located under distribution. Peddlers take goods from a production building or a storeyard and distribute them between your citizens. You need to connect the peddler's tent to a storeyard and to your houses with a road. Peddlers' tents shouldn't be too far away from your homes, or I won't be able to reach everyone. And now, this is also another cool thing that I like about this game. You do not need roadblocks, because the walkers are smart. They will actually go to the homes that do not yet have whatever they need. Within reason, I guess. And if we zoom out here, you can see the area of influence. So any home that is in this area, this guy will go to at some point. And obviously, further out takes longer for him to get there. So it's probably not too efficient to do that. However, it's very neat that we can just do that, and I don't have to actually plan out walking paths. So I know I'm going to want a little bit of a gap in here. I guess I'll go ahead and separate it by 3. So that's fine. The reason I'm going to do that is because I know personally that I will be able to fit something in here on this side, and then I'll have my appeal structures in there. Go, go, go. Okay. We've actually got 3 guys who go and pick up goods, which is pretty nice, and not only are they picking it up from the buildings, but also the store yard. So it simplifies the walker system and the distribution system, and I like that. Once food's been delivered to a house, it evolves to the next level and is able to hold more people. It usually takes a month for a house to evolve. Now that is something I don't like. Usually, well, in the Impressions games, as soon as they got the good, it's upgraded. So that could be a pain. By evolving your houses, you create more room for more people. Migrants will arrive and increase your population. Of course they will, because that's how that works. Okay, well now these guys need alcohol, but not yet. We have to meet the tutorial's goal. What's going on? Oh, they need a month. Yes. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, this guy just hit them all, but now we have to sit and wait. Which means we also have to wait for these guys to come in. It's a little bit of a slower game in that sense, because you are waiting a little bit longer for things to get done. After food's been taken care of, it's time to think about health. Plague can happen if your people don't get enough medicine. To produce medicine, build an herbalist shop near some mushrooms. You'll also need logs. Build a woodcutter's lodge near some trees. Using mushrooms and logs as fuel, herbalists will create 1 load of medicine and from 1 load of mushrooms and 1 load of logs. Apothecary is then needed to distribute the medicine between your citizens. Make sure it's close enough to your houses, otherwise the pharmacist may not be able to reach every house. Okay. So this is kind of why we built over here. So the raw materials is where the woodcutter's lodge is, and it's got a pretty good range. I want to get as many of those logs in there as I can. Well, trees. They're not yet logs. So I want to build a road, actually, so that I can... Oh, it is. Drag, not click. And okay. So raw materials. Get that a little bit closer. Make sure it's on the road itself. There, go. There. Okay. And we need not storage and distribution, but there is the apothecary in there, which is strange. These menus, I feel, are a little bit complicated, because storage and distribution so far seems like it's got all of these servicing buildings. I'm going to put this right here for the stuff, rather than having a separate category for that storage and distribution. What else did we need? Oh, yes. Industry. Yeah. For some reason, the herbalist shop is in industry. So we have a patch of mushrooms here. Got one there. I'm going to put it here, though, because it'll be close to pretty much everything we need. Medical mushrooms. Although there's usually enough mushrooms and trees on the map, you can plant them yourself. To do so, you need a forester's lodge. Each house consumes 1 load of medicine a year. You will need 1 herbalist shop per every 24 houses. I should probably write that down, because I'm gonna totally forget about it. Oh well. So, let's see. Oh, we just don't have it going yet. Okay. So I could put down a store yard, but I don't believe that's necessary, because these guys will come from the peddler's tent and go grab that. So they are... Well, okay, they're accepting everything right now. That's fine. I'm assuming they'll go take it from here. They don't have medicine yet. It's only 9% complete. Being a little impatient. I'm not sure how I feel about the graphic style. The pre-rendered 3D stuff, especially in a little bit of a cartoony... I mean, I don't mind the cartoony so much, it's just that the colors are very vibrant. It's a very saturated game. I mean, when you zoom out, it's a little hard to see. It's not so bad when you zoom in. The next resource you need in order to evolve is alcohol. There are 4 types of alcohol. Mead, wine, cider, and beer, with mead providing the least amount of alcohol units and beer the most. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's a very complicated system of distribution. Probably the easiest is wine. In order to start wine production, you need to build a winery and 24 grape plots. Grapes are ready to be collected in September. Make sure you build grapes close enough to the winery. Yada yada. Okay, well, we'll just build that down here then. Alcohol, there we go. Put the winery right here. And this, I don't believe, has to be connected to the road. I might be wrong about that. We'll find out. Let's see, 4... Actually, I want to do it this way. That way it's lined up nicely, and I can maybe put a road along the backside of those. While grapes are growing, it's time to expand your city. Almost every building in the game requires a certain amount of workforce. If the building is understaffed, it works slower. Not everyone in your city works, though. The percentage of population contributing to your workforce depends on the tax level and your culture. The higher the tax level, the less workers you have. By default, tax level is set automatically as high as possible without creating any worker shortage. Okay, if you've been following the instructions, you have a little worker shortage at this point. You can get more people by evolving your homes, or by building additional ones. They want me to build 12 more. Now, I don't have a worker shortage, actually, but I suppose I could. I could overbuild what the game is telling me, but in order to accomplish this next part, I have to build more homes anyway. So, there we go. And we'll just wrap that around like so. So yes, as I said, because the walkers will just go where they need to go, building my usual rectangular block pattern might not be necessary. But I think it looks decent, and it also makes it easier to operate. I can keep things kind of nice and simple. But it does allow me to actually put one out here as well. And I probably don't want to overload the one distributor, just because that's not going to help when they've got lots of guys out there. And it might also come as a handicap, because if they are not penned in by roadblocks, then they might start pulling double duty, and that might pull them away from other homes. So I guess we'll have to keep an eye on that. But anyway, commenting on the graphical style and the art style, this game actually reminds me of, I mean, no one has probably heard of it. It's a game called Svarog. It's a Russian RTS game, and it was a game that I had from, God, years ago. It was probably late 90s. I don't even know where I got it. I got it because it was cheap. But I remember it had to have been before Warcraft 3, but it was probably close to Warcraft 2, I don't know. Anyway, the art style reminds me of that game. The major source of coins is taxes. To collect taxes, you need to build a tax office located under infrastructure. Tax collectors behave the same way as peddlers and pharmacists, so you need to build the office near your homes and connect them to the road. You also need a town hall before you can do anything. So, we'll have to put this down. I'll just put it down here. Well, I know we won't need this for the tutorial. We won't need more than what we've got here, so that's fine. Tax office. Just put it right next to it. Wow, a growing city may need a more efficient source of food than turnips. One of the possible solutions is feeding turnips to pigs and then using pigs to create meat and leather. Meat can later be smoked to create wurst. Boy. Okay, so turnips are delivered to a pigsty. The pig herd then takes the turnips and feeds the pigs with them. Every pig needs 1 load of turnips to give birth to a piglet, and 1 load of turnips to become a larger pig. Piglets then need 2 loads of turnips to become pigs, and large pigs are butchered at a pigsty for 4 loads of meat and 4 loads of leather. Did you get all that? Build a fence around your pigs so they won't run away. Smokehouses will use meat and logs to create worst. You'll need an additional woodcutter's lodge to produce enough logs for your workshop. Okay. So, yeah, I have absolutely no idea on the ratios for anything. What was it? I think it was the herbalist that dealt with 24? That's what that thing said, right? Well, we can check right here because... it didn't say. Well, I'll have to go back and check that. Anyway, so, you know, the distribution of goods is... a little bit complex, that such that I'm not sure how much I'm going to have to set aside for everything. I think I'm going to wrap a road around here because we have to deal with the logs, and I don't believe I'll have anything to chop down or mine, rather, the stone. So I'm going to just build a little outlet here. We don't have inspectors, you notice, so that's interesting. Pig farm, right. Pigsty. We'll just put the pig... Well, wait a minute now. It has to be close to some distribution. I want it to be close to turnips. We'll put it right there in the middle, and then it looks fantastic. So anyway, we need a sty big enough for 6 pigs. I'm just going to make something a little bit larger. Yeah, okay. A little bit narrow, but it'll do the trick. And let's also get rid of that because it will take a spot. Husbandry, we need fence again. And pig. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So, smokehouse and connect it to the road. Okay, that is in food industry. And you know what? I'll just chop down you as well. And there we go. Apart from food and alcohol, buildings require luxury resources. Luxury resources include furniture, clothes, boots, and pillows, and you should be making those in that order. Furniture is made out of planks, which are made out of logs. You'll need to build a carpenter's shop and to make furniture out of planks, and a sawmill to make planks out of logs, and another woodcutter to provide the sawmill with the logs. Where is all this stuff? Industry, carpenter. Okay, I'll put this a little bit closer, actually, because we're going to want a separate distribution center. I'll put that there. Now, I'm actually not doing a good thing here. You know what? I'm going to change my mind on that. Waste of money. I want a separate distribution, and where the hell is it? There it is. Separate distribution for... let go of that, please. Logs. Where the heck is that? There we go. Logs and planks. And I'll take half a piece. So there we go. And okay, so now I can go back into industry. We'll get a carpenter's shop there and a sawmill here. Luxury goods. The game does recommend you get separate distribution for pretty much every category. So I'm going to take a separate store yard here, put it by the town hall, and we'll get rid of that. We'll accept furniture. I'm going to accept 8, I guess. Okay, it's probably a little bit overkill. So yeah, these do take workers. We're probably going to need some people here. What do they need next? Alcohol. And unfortunately, this does not seem to be doing a damn thing. Speed that up, please. It's not under that. It's under this. June to August. Okay, well, we're going to have to wait on that then. It could also be that maybe we don't have a road. Maybe I am wrong about that, and we do need a road connected to those fields, although I don't think so. But I guess we'll find... Whoa, that is totally not what I meant to do, but we'll keep it. Yeah. Fuck. Okay. We just need more people to work again. Oh, yes, another woodcutter. We'll just put this right out there. Okay, so now we're just waiting on the goods. We do have turnips being made here. Now, I kind of glossed over it, but it does recommend that you not accept turnips in the food distribution here because you want to keep them so you can raise some pigs. However, if you do that, people begin to starve. So, I guess I'll do it for a little bit. I'm going to take this and add worst. So, once we start getting some worst in there, and they get distributed, I mean, really at this point what I could do, I've got a worker shortage of 5. If more people were moving in, however, which I can go ahead and just facilitate by doing that, I could double down on this, because waiting for this stuff to happen with just one building is, it's not the best thing you could be doing. It also doesn't help that we do have that worker shortage, because it does make it a little bit slower, and I'm not really sure at what percentage it's slower. You know, if it's only missing one worker, then what does that equate to? I'm just curious about these guys. Okay, so they're walking through the fields to get around that rock. Well, whatever. I need to make sure I'm also leaving... There's coal and there's iron, okay. You just needed to make sure I was also leaving a pathway for it. That is not what I want you to do. For future expansion. I'm going to get rid of this after all, even though it is expensive. Okay. We're very close to this thing, but that's okay. We won't have to deal with it until a little bit later. So, yes, this is taking freaking forever. We've only got 3 people unemployed. So, one house, currently... Yeah, it's going to devolve because of lack of food already. We don't have the farm. But I do want them to begin working on pigs as much as they can. I feel that we are going to run into an issue there where we're going to have a full stockpile of this stuff, because obviously we're producing way too much wood as opposed to what we're using to make furniture out of, and they're already taking it. Thing that I did notice is that we can't stockpile something. It looks like it's taking it all, and that's it. So that could be a problem. Could be something that they should maybe think about fixing. Although I suppose maybe it's in the economies. How about that? No? Okay. Doesn't look like that's there. If it is here, that's one thing that should definitely be brought to the fore. Okay. We got some turnips there. They're being taken to the pig farm. The pigs are hopefully going to grow here soon. Maybe. What are we doing with those people? Okay, well, this is a good place to stop. I'm going to come back when we have some of these a little bit closer to where they are. This is going to take a little bit longer. So I'll end this one here, and I'll see you next time.